Here for the sportsman's lunch, the prelude to the match tomorrow against Melbourne Victory. Before we get talking about that though, I want to talk about your journey a little bit. Some of that, you'll have a look at the questions. I think that it's a great idea for people who don't know that to get to know you and your journey towards where you are now. It all started back in England. You grew up in Manchester and actually played for United's youth system.
You've been digging very deep. The internet wasn't even alive when I was playing on there. Yes, I came to Australia in 1982. I'm now a proud Queenslander. I've been living here since that time. Just 3 months out of the state, living in Victoria, otherwise always living in Queensland. I was fortunate enough to play for United as a kid until I got the tap on the shoulder and said, "You ain't good enough, see you later." So I had that experience, and I guess that's one of the things that helps me to help kids now, young players that we've got at our club, to recognise what the pitfalls might be to maybe get to a professional career. Yeah, so that was a long time ago, wasn't it?
When you made the move from England over to Australia to play, what were the key differences in not only the culture but the level of football at the time?
Well, the thing that struck me most, there was two boys at Brisbane Roar at that time, and Gary's here, and he'll remember exactly who they are, and I won't mention them, but they were superstars in Brisbane, and all the talk was that they're going to go over there and pick up a big contract with one of the English league clubs, and they both did, but they both came back with their tail between their legs. I think that there's been some brilliant players. I mean, I worked in Ipswich with Ipswich Knights many years ago, and still to this day, working with quality players now like Thomas Broich, Messa Parisha, one of the best athletes and best people I've ever worked with was Peter Vogler, who is an Ipswich boy. I mean, everybody knows Peter Vogler. He's an Olympian with baseball, and he had the attributes to go and play over in the UK if he wanted to. But the main thing that struck me was that it was passionate, there was a love for it, but it just needed some professionalism, and I think we've probably got to that stage now with the A-League. Going
from being a player to coaching, what drew you towards the mentorship and the coaching role that you took on and developed?
I've always been involved in coaching. Very early in my football career when I was still playing, I took my badges and took some young teams. In Casey, when he was 11, was one of my first players, and I think Troy's over here somewhere. He was there as well. Both picked in the Queensland team that was that 1988 or something. You're both feeling old now, aren't you? Not as old as me though. But coaching has always been a passion. You go on a journey, you do what you love, and I'm not the only one in this room, but I've made sacrifices to get where I am today. I remember having an excellent job and very, very good pay, but I got this taste where I was given an opportunity to work for the Queensland Academy of Sport, and basically I went to earn a quarter of what I was earning because this was my passion, this is what I wanted to do. And I encourage anybody to do that, because if you can wake up in the morning like I do right now and say, I absolutely love my job, and you're very fortunate.
You mentioned that you worked here in Queensland with youth development. You also worked with Gold Coast United, but you also coached women down with the W League. What are the key differences between coaching women and men and youth?
Estrogen and testosterone. I've already mentioned one, famous son from Ipswich, and another famous lady is Belinda Kitching. Another famous name from this area. I worked with her at QAS, and she, to this day, is one of the best goalkeepers I've ever worked with. Great distribution of the feet, excellent shot stopper, played for Australia. The main differences are speed and power. Vision, they've all got vision, the best players have. I was fortunate enough to work with some of the best players. And the attitude is that we all know the men's game is more popular, the women's game needs a push. Now I'm very pleased to see that Sean, who is here today, our managing director, has brought in the Brisbane Roar women's team under our umbrella, and that excites me because we're getting to the stage now where we're a real club. We've got youth, we've got women, and we've got seniors.
Now, your first A-League gig came from the W League team. You won Coach of the Year, Melbourne Victory. Came and joined us. Very similar circumstances to when Ange Postecoglou came into the club. Did you think that there would automatically be comparisons between the two of you coming in?
I think there always will be comparisons because I took over a team that had been very successful under Ange, and I owe him a debt of gratitude because I was very fortunate. Brisbane Roar is one of the only clubs in the A-League that has its own DNA. It has an identity, and I think all the football people in this room understand what I mean. We play possession-based football, we attack, we play at speed, we try and close people down high up the field, and he started that off along with Rado and Kenny Stead. And, you know, if people want to choose comparisons, that's fine. All I know is that he's won 2 A-League titles and I haven't won any. So he's well ahead at the moment.
Talk us through the first couple of sessions that you took. You came in, Rado had finished up, you replaced him as the head coach. What was happening in the camp? Can you give us a couple of key indicators as to what you picked up straight away and why the team wasn't winning matches on the park?
Well, the first thing you've got to do, I think, is the power of observation. You've got to get in and watch and see what's going on and get close and get a feel for what's happening in the place. If I can encapsulate what I felt, there was a feeling of entitlement, and that wasn't just in the playing staff, it was pervading throughout the whole club. And what I mean by that is that it had happened, we'd won two titles, and people sort of expected that it was going to happen again. And the players were in a little bit of a comfort zone, everybody seemed to be, you know, on easy street. And I think we came to a realisation there was a coaching change, and obviously I got that opportunity. And we made a couple of changes to the playing staff, and also the main thing was the attitude. And the people who deserve the most credit for this are the players, because they bought into what I was saying and what I was trying to drill into them, and they're the ones who turned things around. And you know, and I think that I can even say more powerfully that they've turned up this season ready to play.
A brilliant resurgence at the back end of the season, making it through the semi-finals. Obviously very exciting, but it must have been slightly disappointing to be pipped to the post there by the new boys in the competition.
Oh, it's always sad when you lose. But I've had some moments in my career when I was coaching the QS women where you have these moments, you lose a final, and you've got to take something from it, and it hurts like hell. And I remember bringing the players together 5 minutes after the game had finished, sat them down and said, remember this pain. This is what is going to drive us to be successful again. And I think that's a really important message, because if you have something to hang on to, something that you felt that was taken away from you, which some of them did, but the truth is we got what we deserved last year. We didn't deserve to win the grand final. If we'd have won it, it would have been amazing and would have been great, would have accepted it, but we failed at the beginning of the season and then we were playing catch up. Very proud of the players, the way that they responded, but now, as I say, that pain will drive us on to this season, and I've already seen that in pre-season.
You've had your first off-season to make the changes you want, mould the team to how you want it to be shaped for the season coming up. Can we expect any more signings before we start the A-League season?
Well, last season we've had a bit of a turnover. I don't know how much everybody knows, but we did have a turnover. The people that we brought in, I'm very big on bringing youth players through, and we brought George Lambaterides, who unfortunately has succumbed to an injury for the season. We brought Corey Brown up to senior pro. We brought in Dimitri Petratos, who's just had a knee operation and he's out for 3 weeks. We brought Diogo Ferreira in, who will play tomorrow night. He's from Melbourne Victory. And I guess our 2 key signings, and 2 players that I was determined to get, I gave Sean a list of 3 players and we managed to get 2 of them. It was Liam Miller and Manny Mackay. And if you see a training, the reason I brought these guys is because last year we got lost a little bit in the final third. We had some great creativity, but we never really threatened a lot in the final third in terms of getting numbers in the box and that final pass. And these 2 players I identified as clever, intelligent, and evasive. That means they're not easy to pick up, and they'll get beyond the ball and get into dangerous areas. And already I've seen that. Manny has come back and he's like a kid in a sweet shop. He's just so happy to be back amongst us, and he's going to make a big difference along with Liam.
3 seasons ago, when Ange first took over the team, you'd probably say that Brisbane Roar led the way in the change within the A-League of how the football was played, possession, attacking, really aggressive when looking to get the ball back. Is that something that you're looking to continue and obviously then build on top and give it your own little twist as well?
Yeah, as I said before, there was a DNA, and as I said, I was fortunate to walk into that because the philosophy of the club was very similar to my own. My job now is to tweak what has been there before and make it better, because you better believe it, what we did 2 years ago ain't good enough anymore. Everybody out there is improving. The quality of international players coming in is much better, and the depth of coaching is much better. There's a lot of analysis now. You can't get away with anything. You've got to be ready, you've got to be prepared. Tomorrow you'll see us play here, and we'll be 4 or 5 key players short, but I've got every faith in the young kids that we're bringing in are going to put up a good show against Melbourne Victory. So there'll be a few tweaks, but it will certainly be entertaining, because that's what I like to see, players entertain everybody. The game's all about fans, and it's all about the players.